Yes, thank you all for coming today. We have some great speakers talking about some mental health services. And first, we do have Dr. Jackie Kinville from the Queens Vet Center. So,
Great, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. And I do have my colleague, Thomas Mariani. He's our office manager who basically handles everything in our office, which is amazing. And he has a PowerPoint presentation that he's going to kind of go through for us. And then after that, I can answer some questions more specific to our clinical services. So I will hand it over to him first.
Right. Thanks, Jackie. So I'm going to share, if possible, I guess I would have to share my screen, right? All right. Sorry, guys. All right. So my name is Thomas Mariani. As Jackie already mentioned, I'm the office manager for the Queens Vet Center. So I like to think of what we do here. We're sort of liaisons for veterans. We basically help veterans primarily, I guess, with counseling, but also veterans do come to us for assistance with their VA benefits. That would be probably a very close number two. And we would also assist veterans with their schooling, GI Bill benefits, as well as voc rehab benefits, as well as getting information for VA loans and such. All right, sorry. So statement of purpose. The Queens Vet Center welcomes home war veterans by providing free and confidential quality readjustment services. We help veterans and their family members make a successful post-war adjustment in caring manner. What I like to say, what that means to me is in 2011, when I came home from the Marine Corps, I was still in Marine Corps mode. I was a little excited. When I went to college originally, I'm from Staten Island, so I went to CSI. I only lasted about 2 semesters. I was getting into a lot of fights, trying to fix everybody else, asking myself why everybody else was a little bit undisciplined, why I was just a little bit maybe better than everyone else. And at that point, a lot of my friends and peers sort of pointed me in the direction of a vet center. And that's kind of why I wouldn't say that's why I ended up here, but I really tell all veterans maybe they should go to a vet center to kind of seek help, to kind of see what might be wrong with them or where they might need some help. So that's really where that readjustment comes in, understanding what that transition might be from going from military into civilian life. As far as eligibility goes, normally we like the eligibility requirements, basically any combat veteran or anybody with a military campaign ribbon. So basically anyone who's deployed. Additionally, if you're a MST or if you served, if you've done any sort of if you served at a morgue, if you've done any kind of assignment there, sorry about that. That basically means you're eligible. If you don't fall under any of those categories, we can still help get you some help. What that means is, for example, we work with some other institutions that might get you counseling outside of the vet center. So I would still ask anyone, any veteran, even if you never deployed, if you still need any help, still reach out to us and we might be able to point you in the right direction. Some of the services that we provide, obviously individual counseling. We have group counseling with some peers. We do family counseling, bereavement counseling. As I mentioned before, probably second to the counseling, everybody always wants help with their VA benefits. So if you need help with your benefits, if you haven't done a VA claim in the past, or if you have done a VA claim and you're seeking an increase, we actually have a VSO who's not technically part of our staff, but works very closely with our staff, who might be able to assist you with your claim. We work very closely with the VHA. A lot of times veterans do come here fresh out of the military, and they see veteran centers. So sometimes some veterans might ask some basic questions. They might be seeking healthcare, or they might be seeking like their veteran ID card. So we of course will be able to help you with that information and help guide you there as well. VBA basically helps you with your disability compensation that we kind of covered, with your loans, any kind of pensions that you might be entitled to if you've done 20 or more years, or if you've been military retired, your GI Bill, or voc rehab. We actually have an outreach manager who's currently deployed, who was a reservist. She normally would be here in my place today giving you all this information, but she works closely with the VBA to help all those veterans get all the information they need. I know they've helped me in the past, so it's always a great benefit to have. For any veterans who might need some help throughout the 5 boroughs, I mean, you could always just use 311. That's like the quickest way to get some help. What else? Some of the other available resources, I would say, the most important one here is the Veteran Crisis Line. If you ever feel like you are going to do any kind of damage to yourself, if you have any sort of thoughts about hurting yourself or suicide, obviously you should call the Veteran Crisis Line at the very end there, at the bottom. You want to push 1, but I would ask if you can, try to hold off and reach out to to the closest vet center to you. Just like Jackie is here, we have other counselors here who can help you. I mean, everybody's here to help assist. That might be, that's pretty much it. And at this time, I mean, Jackie, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, thank you. I had kind of talked briefly before this presentation started that I had worked in Las Vegas. I was working at the VA in Las Vegas, and kind of looking at the contrast between the VA and a vet center. The VA is very much a medical model. It's more sterile, kind of cold environment. It's pretty hard to get appointments for therapy at most VA centers because they're a gigantic place, and usually people from rural areas also come, not just the folks in the city. So it tends to be more challenging. It's not as warm and inviting. And so far now that I've been with the Vet Center, I was working out of the Las Vegas Henderson Vet Center. It's a much more cozy kind of atmosphere, family atmosphere. It's more warm and inviting, as well as we have a flexible schedule. So we are available in evenings, soon to be weekends, and we can accommodate people that are working, families, things like that. So it's definitely more accommodating for people who have alternate schedules, and it is a more inviting place. So the other piece is the record keeping is different. With the big VA, as I call it, your records, can be accessed by VBA if you're filing for a claim. They just send all your records over. With our records, only you are able to access those records, and then you can decide, what you're going to share with VBA or not. So that gives you more latitude as far as what you'd like to share and what you wouldn't. And so that's important, when you are seeking behavioral health services. So I think those are good differences to keep in mind when you do want to seek services at a vet center versus a VA. And then I also, would like to open it up if anyone has any specific questions that either I or Thomas can answer.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I appreciate that. That makes, with my own experience,
I just want to
Thomas,
add very quickly that I didn't, in that, I apologize.
Like I was mentioning, I also served in the Marine Corps, and going through the VA for mental health services, a lot of times you get referred to the PTSD clinic, the psychiatrist. You don't necessarily want to go that route. You just want to talk to someone. And it's kind of like difficult when, I was so grateful when I finally did connect with the Vet Center and being able to do that one-on-one session. And also, I'm not sure if people are aware, you could do couples therapy sometimes if there's a counselor on staff that can do that, facilitate it. which was a big incentive. Me and my wife are both Marines, so it helped us out a lot. Do you happen to, can you maybe, are you a certified couples therapist or someone else on staff that can handle that?
Yes, actually, that's good that you brought that up. I actually, as well as being a licensed clinical psychologist, I'm also a licensed marriage family therapist. So yes, bring all the couples. So
Perfect.
yes, and that is a good thing with the vet center. A lot of times, even the big VA will refer to the vet centers for couples therapy because oftentimes either they don't have the resources or the time to provide couples therapy or family therapy, whereas the vet center does have that. So yes, definitely. So thank you for bringing that up.
Awesome. And then I guess the last question, the best way to refer veterans your way. I know in the past, I used to connect them to JoJo, the outreach person who's currently deployed. We do rely on Vet Connect NYC for that too. What would you say is the best, I guess, most up-to-date referral process for the Queens Vet Center in particular?
I probably would defer to Thomas for that since I am so new. I am not exactly sure as the best method.
Yes. So I just realized that, and I do apologize that I did forget to put our contact info in the slide, but in the chat box I did put my email and the Queens Vet Center's phone number. So if anybody wants to reach out, if they need any kind of guidance or any information whatsoever, you could always call. The number here is 718-296-2871. And again, that is in the chat box. And if you want to email and get any kind of additional information, you could always email me directly, Thomas with an H, dot Mariani, Mariani, at va.gov. Any questions you might have, if I don't have the answer myself, I'll always make sure to get the information for you. And I mean, we have plenty of resources. I'm sure that we can get some sort of answer for you.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I appreciate that. So I guess next we'll just have Jared kind of go over his services with NYU, and then after that we could open it up to a bigger discussion, or if you want privacy, we could do breakout rooms as well. So we'll leave it at that. Next, Jared. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm not sure if it was my connection or yours, but I'm skipping around. So if you missed something, let me know. I'll repeat myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Jared. I work at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Center at NYU Langone Health. We are based out of Manhattan, out of NYU's hospital, but we are now operating completely via tele during this pandemic. So anybody in New York State can qualify. So we are a free mental health clinic for veterans and their families. We also see reservists, members of the National Guard, family members, families of active duty as well. We treat a number of different issues and concerns, such as post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, traumatic brain injury. We also do couples counseling. We treat people's children for a number of different issues. All of these services are free of cost. We are a privately funded organization. We have some donors who are helping us out. We generally have no wait list. So usually a week, 2 weeks, something like that is about what somebody can expect to wait if they call in. Sometimes it's longer. A lot of times people have very specific schedule requirements, so that makes it tough. It's like, I can only come in Wednesday at 6 p.m. and our clinicians aren't free or something, so it makes it tough. But generally a week or two is what we say. As I mentioned, all of our services are free of cost. They're totally confidential. We do not share anybody's information with any outside organizations or anything like that. I'll put all of our information in the chat box because I know it's kind of a lot. And I can also share our stuff if you want to share it internally. We can do that. Trying to think of what to say here. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We generally see veterans for usually a shorter term, like 4 months, 6 months, something like that. We often work with a number of the vet centers when we when someone needs longer term services. So we refer to the vet centers all the time. Some vet centers refer to us, so we do work together. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Jared, I know in the past I participated in some research through NYU, the PTSD research. Is that still going on right now, or has it kind of been paused due to?
It is not. That program ended. I just happen to work for both of them, both the clinic and the research side. Research is not going on anymore. It's kind of better for me because kind of muddled the waters. People thought that if you did clinic, then you had to participate in research, which was not true, but it kind of, like I said, it kind of muddled the waters. So for now that I work only for the clinic, it makes my life easier.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I think
it was an interesting thing.
Yeah. The main, I guess, difference is that NYU has a bit more flexibility when coming to the eligibility criteria, serving, you could still be in the reserves or active duty versus the Queens Vet Centers can't. They have to be kind of combat, meet the criteria for combat to be serviced at the Queens Vet Center. So that's something to be aware of.
We see veterans from any era and with any discharge status, so honorable through to dishonorable, and we don't focus on combat versus non-combat. It's just any veteran, as long as, basically any veteran. That's really all it comes down to. For family members, we say that it should relate to the veteran's service somewhat. So you can be someone's like third cousin and you're depressed or something because like law school isn't going well or something like that. So, those types of scenarios we have to say, sorry, no. Just has to relate to the veteran's service in some way, shape, or form. But for veterans, we're a little bit more lenient with that. I mean, we have a adult ADHD group that's like, it's not related to military service per se, but it's something we offer.
That's awesome. All right. So I guess I'm going to stop the recording right now, and that will